Hey guys, today we're putting the makeup, the spandex, and the hairspray on the shelf, and we're going to be jumping straight into some metal. We're going with 1983's debut album from Metallica, Kill 'Em All. Let's go! I was introduced to Metallica. I have to credit that originally with Tommy. Down the road, he had picked up a copy of And Justice for All, and when I say picked up, I think he literally picked it up and did not pay for it, if you catch my drift. But the statute of limitations on that is far gone, so I think I can talk about that. He put on that album, Blackened, started that album, and it got us so pumped up. Me, Darrell, Tommy, we all jumped into it and really kind of enjoyed it. But to be honest with you, it was a little heavier than most of the other stuff I was listening to. So, you know, I kind of took it on its face and enjoyed it for a time, and then it blew up real big and just kind of put it on the back shelf. But Darrell took quite the liking to Metallica, and he would expose himself to the earlier catalog of the band, and I guess by default having that playing in the background and seeing how much he enjoyed it then caused me to give it extra listens. I can't say I was the hugest Metallica fan growing up. I would say that my appreciation for the band is probably 10 times greater now than it was, you know, back then. Again, just because they didn't have the makeup and the spandex and the teased hair, and they didn't have the image, and it was more, you know, in your face, you know, true metal, really. But ultimately, Jay at Sunburst came through for
$2,
and I was able to pick up that debut album and started spinning that. And again, back then, regularly listened to it, wouldn't have ranked it anywhere up near the high end of what I, you know, bands that I considered my favorites or whatever. So it was really, really nice and fun to go back and listen to this album in its entirety for the first time in quite a while. So with that, we're going to jump right in. All right, the best song for me on this one, I'm gonna go with The Four Horsemen. So, all you Metallica fans, spare me the history lesson. I know that they took the music that Dave Mustaine, subsequently of Megadeth fame, did while he was with the band and, you know, put new lyrics over it, and that the music is really more Megadeth than Metallica.
I mean, this is an emotional thing for me.
I get all that, but for me on this album, man, that's just the song. I gotta put that one at the top, man. The pacing of it, the guitar kind of mimicking the galloping of horses. I think this song particularly highlights just how criminally underrated I think Kirk Hammett as a guitarist was held, at least in my regard, and by most of those that I knew. For me, Four Horsemen, that's the song that I'm gonna peg at the top on this one. Okay, so you gotta pick a worse song on this album, and I just went with Phantom Lord. At first I thought maybe it could be a toss-up, No Remorse, Metal Militia, but really that would be a toss-up for like the second worst song. Phantom Lord, for me, it just kind of feels forced. It doesn't feel as natural as the rest of the songs on the album. Feels like it's just kind of the square peg in a round hole trying to be pushed in there to fill a spot on the album. I just wasn't into it. It just didn't feel like it belonged with the rest of the music on the album. So that's why Phantom Lord got my vote for the worst song on the album. All right, so the most overrated song on this one, I'm going with Seek and Destroy. This is a really good example, to be honest with you, of what makes ranking these albums and the songs on them so difficult for me, because I really, really like that song. In fact, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, I probably give that song an 8. I enjoy it, but it's just so many Metallica fans hold it in such high regard. I know it's a staple of the live show. I know it's one of the songs that they're certainly most known for from that album. There were other examples on that album that I thought highlighted the band's ability a little bit better than that one. So that's why, you have to pick one to put on that list in that category, and Seek and Destroy is that one for me. Okay, so the biggest good surprise to come out of this album for me is a song that I always liked, and again falls in that category of I guess I hadn't heard it in such a long time, but Whiplash. Whiplash is probably my biggest good surprise on the album. Like I said, it was a song that I always liked growing up, and I know that they technically released it as a single, way back then, but it didn't really gain any traction other than in the local scene. Certainly didn't catapult them to international stardom that they would later enjoy. But what a solid tune, what a solid tune just from beginning to end. I also do like the fact that during this era, Metallica was basically no frills, let's get down to business and bang out a 3 to 4 minute, fast-paced metal song and move on. They didn't have to make everything a 7, 8, 9 minute epic display of their perfectionism of their instruments, if you will. So Whiplash, definitely, if you haven't heard it in a while, put it back on. I think you'll also be pleasantly surprised. All right, biggest letdown, Jump in the Fire. Now hold on. When I say letdown, that doesn't mean that it's a bad song. I still like the song. It just didn't hit as hard as I remembered growing up. This was one from the album that was in heavy rotation back in the day. It was one that we performed in air band, I believe, on one occasion. McCabrey was able to perform this one, and I really liked the song. It just is a bit of a letdown that it just didn't kind of have that kick that I remembered growing up. Still a great song, nothing wrong with the song at all, but if I have to be honest, if there was one of the songs that was, that let me down on the album, it was this one. So, great song, just not as great as I remembered. Overall ranking of Kill 'Em All. Oh, it was tough. It come in at an 8, and it just missed being a 9. There are some really solid efforts on this album, and certainly it was a great introduction to thrash metal for a whole generation of fans to get on board with. I really regret not being fully aware at the time of the rise of that type of music. I think I would have enjoyed it quite a bit more had I been open to it back then. But, as we kind of alluded to earlier, they were almost kind of the anti-hair metal band on the scene, if you will, which kind of went against the grain where, I think that I can honestly say they're probably one of the first bands I can think of that I was drawn to where the music was over the image. The image wasn't what originally drew me to the band. Whether they've been credited with it or not, I'm not sure if they ever have, but I think that it's pretty safe to say that they also kind of laid the groundwork for being okay to veer away from the party scene of the Sunset Strip and, allowing grunge metal to, in the early 90s, to kind of have a place in the hearts of people, that not everything had to be on the up and up, happy-go-lucky, party, have a good time type stage. So a lot of respect for the album. I just couldn't quite give it a 9. I'm keeping it at an 8, and that's still a really solid ranking for such a great debut. All right, guys, let me know. How did I do with Metallica's debut album, Kill 'Em All from 1983? Did I get it right, or are my reviews more like metal up your ass? See what I did right there? Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so we can keep these videos coming. Thanks again for tuning in and listening to Larry on Eric and Darrell.